Thank you for joining me on the Darren Chatter podcast. I'm going to be reading some of my blog posts that I have written so that you can consume this information in an audio format versus reading the blogs if this is more to your liking. I'm going to share with you stories from my past as an athlete, as a coach, as a salesperson, as a business professional, as a VP of sales. Everything that I have learned and amassed along the way in my 50 years here on planet Earth, I'm going to hope to share with you in order to help you shorten your learning curve, understand maybe a little different way to look at things, and hopefully learn a few things along the way. So here was the podcast you tuned in for. I hope you enjoy it. Please reach out to me when you can and let me know your thoughts. Thank you. Hey everybody, Darren here. I wanted to make sure that you were aware just how easy it is to make your own podcast. Let me explain a few things about Anchor. Number one, it's free. It is a fantastic app that gives you all the tools you need, and it's 100% free. Number two, there are creation tools in the app that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone like I'm doing, or from your computer if you choose to do it that way. Number three, Anchor distributes your podcast for you, so it will be found on places like Spotify and Apple Podcast and many more. Who knows, you might be the next Joe Rogan. Number four, you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. And number five, it's a one-stop shop. Everything you need to make in a podcast is in one place. So go to download the free Anchor app in the Google Play Store or the iPhone Store, or go to anchor.fm to get started. Believe me, you won't regret it. Hey everybody, thank you for joining me for this podcast, number 142, entitled Writing Your Own Obituary. In the interest of using the macro view to adjust the micro, here is a thought exercise I thought would be really good to do. I want you to write your own obituary. What would your tombstone read? As the old joke goes, no one's tombstone would read, "I wish I would have spent more time at work." More than likely, in a deathbed review of your life, you would say things like, "I wish I had spent more time with my family." Maybe before it's too late, you should consider making some adjustments to your life now. It is a great big world out there, and the clock is ticking. Always wanted to travel? Get on it. Really want to build a home for people in need? Call Habitat for Humanity today and get started. Stop putting things off and putting things into the future, as the future is promised to no one. Ask yourself this question. If I died tomorrow, how many people would attend my funeral? Personally, I feel like this is a good measure on the kind of life that you are leading. Are you helping and influencing others? Will people miss you when you're gone? Are you contributing to the greater good? If you ask yourself these questions and struggle to find an answer, probably time for some real introspection and pivots in your life. Seriously, don't wait until you have the sad realization once that you lose the ability to course correct and do things differently. You can only imagine what a horrible taste regret will leave in your mouth. The problem with the way we in the U.S. view retirement is exactly what I'm talking about previously. We wait until someday when we have unlimited time and hopefully the money to do as we wish. Many find themselves in failing health, in the situation of having a family member who needs to move in with them, or don't have the money saved for retirement like they expected. Now what do? You've put off everything you've wanted to do for yourself, and now you no longer have the means to execute those plans. We all live under the illusion that we're going to have far more time than we think. Death comes for us all. But nowhere is it written that the Grim Reaper will wait until you are 90 to knock on your door. I am in no way trying to be morbid about this. I'm trying to shake you out of your complacency and prompt some action. Whether for selfish reasons or to impact the world, get off your ass and get started with whatever it is that you know you should be doing. As is almost always the case, I am speaking from experience. I am making this statement with something specific in mind. My car accident. That is blog number 62 if you want to read that story. But suffice to say, that I am not allowing this event to slip from the forefront of my mind. I want that life and death scenario to be omnipresent. I want to keep, as it keeps me focused on taking action and not letting myself put off things until tomorrow. Need a good exercise in this arena to really get started? Easy. Write your own obituary. Find out how much disconnect between what you want or think people will say about you in memoriam and what they would actually say. Don't sugarcoat it. And if you really want to get down and dirty, write your obituary and ask a few friends to do the same for you. That will give you a good look at how you were viewed versus how you view yourself and your place in the world. Maybe things are better than you realize. Maybe they're not. But certainly better to know now and be able to do something about it, right? Tomorrow waits for no one, and the clock is ticking. Get off your butt and do what needs to be done. Otherwise, you're going to wake up soon and your chances to do these things will have passed you by. If you are lucky, seriously lucky, you'll be sitting around at an old folks' home pissed off and bitter about the things that you never did. That's as good as it gets if you put these things off. This would have been better already being dead. Let me try that again. This would be better than already being dead, but only by a little. That level of regret will eat at you as you sit there for the rest of what's left of your life. As always, I wish you luck in your endeavors. As I referenced that car accident, for those people who have listened to some of my stuff or read my blogs before, I talk about that quite a bit as that was a catalyst for adding some things to my life. I was on the verge of making some major life changes at that point already. I was living with my girlfriend with the intent of getting married in the near future. I had changed jobs and found something that I am still at today and really enjoy, and even though that was in 2015 when that crash occurred. So I didn't want what could have been viewed as a lucky situation to just kind of slip away with not having any true differentiation in my life. So while I was sitting in the middle of nowhere, having just got hit head on by a drunk driver at 5 o'clock in the morning, waiting for the paramedics to arrive, I thought about that. If I died today, who is going to come to my funeral? How many people's lives have I touched to the point where people would be willing to travel or take a half day off of work to come to my funeral and pay their respects? I like to think that I may have more than the average person solely because I have been a coach for so long and have had the opportunity to impact more people in that manner than lots of other people have in what you'd consider, quote unquote, a normal life. I also have a wide circle of friends through my job and have long-standing friendships that go back literally 30 years or more with a bunch of people. So I don't think it would be depressing in the sense that it would be my parents and my sister and that's it. But the question is, how many? How much impact have I had? How much good am I doing the world with the life that I'm leading? And as I sat there in the dark, waiting for the paramedics to arrive, and in my head kind of thinking through these thoughts, I made myself a promise that I was not going to let that moment slip away. I didn't want to get to the point where I sort of, quote, got past it and never thought about it again. I wanted to make sure that the life lesson that this incident was going to afford me the ability to learn was not glossed over. On my way home that day, my dad picked me up and we drove home instead of going fishing like we had planned. I thought about how this should change my life. I wanted it to be the catalyst for something else. And when I really put my mind to it, I quickly came to the decision that I should be doing public speaking and coaching on a much higher and broader level. I love being the ASU racquetball coach. That has been the most personally rewarding thing I have ever done. Public speaking and other things like that. I have no idea how many people read my blog at this point or listen to one of these mini podcasts and it has impact on. The analytics don't always tell the story, but I'm hopeful that sharing my thoughts and feelings about these things are prompting action in people or making them look at things a little bit differently. And at some point, they'll make some changes that would be in their own best interest. So writing your own obituary sounds like a crazy exercise. Most of us don't want to think about death. If you've ever had a near-death experience like I did, and that really was the only one. I was in one other bad car accident, but I did not really get injured in that one either. But this one was bad. It was head-on collision, high speed, in the middle of nowhere, in a construction zone where I had no chance to escape the oncoming car. It was just the perfect scenario for my life to have ended right then and there, or for me to be doing this talk from a wheelchair instead of having literally nothing but a tiny little scar on the back of my hand. So I'm lucky. I feel like I have been given a second chance and I need to take advantage of that. So that's why I created this platform. I'm doing my best to help others in any way that I can maximize their own life and their own potential, whether it's being a better parent or a better partner in their relationship, or going out and conquering the world, or starting a new business venture that leads to some major change in technology or whatever. Anything that is going to be for the greater good that you have within you, it is an absolute waste if you never take action. Believe me, I've spent enough time with an older crowd of people to know that the things that you regret are 90% the things that you didn't do and 10% some of the things that you did. I don't want to be one of those people, and I don't want you to be one of those people either. Don't put things off for the future that is not promised to you or anybody else for that matter. None of us knows when our card gets pulled and that's the last day of our life. So if you put everything off till the future and think that you're going to retire early and have tons of money and you'll be in good health and so will your spouse and you'll get to travel the world like you always wanted to, man, what a horrible realization to come to, that your retirement plans didn't quite work out, or you have a family member who needs your help, and that money that you put aside for you to travel now has to go to pay somebody's medical bills or get somebody therapy or help them make their monthly rent payments because their life has crashed and burned and they're trying to start over, things like that. Those things are very commonplace. And thinking that your life is going to work out exactly the way you have it scripted in your head is a grave error for sure. Start figuring out now how to live the life that you want to live. My particular job affords me the luxury of traveling and working from anywhere, and my wife and I are slowly starting to take advantage of that. With her job as a nurse, she can crunch her schedule where she works several days back to back and then has 5 or 6 days in a row off, affording us the opportunity to go on a road trip or hop on a plane and go visit some friends in California, that kind of stuff. We don't have grand plans of traveling the world and checking off every country in Europe that we've been to, things like that. That's never really been what we want to do. But for you, that may be exactly it. Or you may want to dig wells in the jungle for the pygmies. Who knows? Whatever it is that you want to do, your responsibility is to A, start taking action now, and B, not let that vision die in you. The last thing you want is to be reaching the retirement age, not having the opportunity to do these things, and be filled with regret, remembering my words to you today, and knowing that you had a push in the right direction and that you never got up off the couch and started doing something. As always, I'm here to help if I can. I don't have all the answers, but you are welcome to any knowledge that I have that you think would be of assistance. Reach out to me through my website at darrenchatter.com/blog, or reach out to me on my social media platforms at Darren Chatter. I would be happy to help in any way I can. I wish you luck in your endeavors.